Hi there! Today we're going to produce hydrogen at home to prove that hydrogen is a green alternative fuel source. The method that we're using is called water electrolysis. This works by placing distilled water in between a cathode and an anode. We'll be using graphite as both our cathode and our anode. We'll also add baking soda as our electrolyzer, and we'll pass electric current through the solution. The electric current will then break apart the water molecules into two hydrogen atoms and an oxygen atom. The oxygen atom will collect towards the positive charge, and while the hydrogen atom is going to collect towards the negative charge. To calculate the amount of hydrogen generated, we'll use a bowl of water and a cup. The cup will be completely filled with water and will be turned upside down as it is right now. This will ensure that all the air is completely out of the cup. Since hydrogen molecules are lighter than water molecules, the hydrogen will float up to the top. We can use the water displacement and the volume of the cup to find out how much hydrogen is generated. Now that we know how our experiment will work, let's move on to our variables. This experiment will show that the amount of voltage would have any impact on the amount of hydrogen generated. The purpose of this experiment is to measure the production rate of hydrogen gas by changing the input voltage between the two nodes. The variable we'll change here is the amount of voltage. Each amount of voltage will be passed through the chamber for a minute before it will be cut off. Then you'll measure the results and compare them to the others to find out if adding more voltage will result in more hydrogen gas. My hypothesis is that the higher voltage amount should result in more hydrogen production. The experiment that I'm doing right here is outdoors and is under adult supervision. You should not be trying this without any adult supervision. This is my complete apparatus. Over here we have our anode and our cathode, and we have the small pipe which leads us to the cup which is going to collect all the hydrogen. You have a gallon of distilled water over here, some baking soda, and we have these two wires which connect to our different amount of voltage batteries. Next, I'm going to mix this distilled water with the baking soda over here. Now I'll fill the solution into the chamber. Now I'll place this pipe into my collection jar. Now I'm going to connect the positive and negative wires together to start the process of electrolysis. I will begin with 3 volts. Now that I've connected the wire and I've started the timer, let's see if anything happens. The 1 minute timer is over, and as you can see, there were barely any bubbles, so consequently, we don't have any hydrogen that we can collect. Now, we're going to change our variables. Instead of using a 3-volt battery, we're going to use a 9-volt battery. Let's connect the wires together. Now that I've connected the circuit, we're going to start our 1-minute timer. we have some hydrogen formed over here, the bubbles, and it's still rising, so I'm just going to disconnect it. And now I'm going to measure this, and I'm going to tell you the measurements. Now we're going to move on and use 12 volts. I'm going to connect these batteries to the positive and negative wires. Now I've connected the 12 volt battery to the chamber. As you can see, the bubbles are forming a lot, which means that the rate of hydrogen production is really high compared to all the other previous experiments that we did. The 1 minute timer is over. Now I'm going to disconnect the battery and I'm going to note down the results. Now that we are done with the procedure, we have proven that if we increase the amount of voltage, hydrogen production will go up.